Hey, good morning, fam. It's me, M.A. Truth, here with you. We're going to continue on with Dr. Bey. I'm going to try and get this done between today and tomorrow because I don't want to drag this out. There's other material that I'm sure that would be of interest to you as well. But we're going to pick up right where we left off at before. Um, give you about another 10, 15 minutes of this, and I hope you are taking copious notes and learning how to really read that dictionary, which say any dictionary, and the thesaurus, and get the etymology online link. All of that's good stuff. Help us learn the words that we're speaking, the meanings of them, and the roots of them, where they come from. There's a lot of stuff we need to stop talk. We need to stop saying. I know I do. Enjoy.
Now, this is where the word derived from. It was taken from Old English. When the first word first come into being, as they recorded it.
Right, right. That is what they are, but I think he's asking what you call all of them as a whole. They're dictionary though? Yeah, those will always be in the dictionaries within those square brackets that I just showed you. Okay? Now, having gone over that, let me try to stay on my point here. Now that takes us all the way back to this peace and war game. Remember, I got up here and I started out by saying we're getting our butts kicked in this war because we don't know we're at war, and those of us that realize we're at war, we're trying to fight, and we don't have the terms and conditions of the rules together. Now, in order to get the conditions and the rules together, you must understand the terms. We don't comprehend the terms because we were never taught the science of terms or terminology.
And just let me interject. That is so vitally important. I'm 65 years young and I'm just now learning this stuff. So, for you young ones that are out here, you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, y'all got time to get this down and get it down pat. I'm working as hard as I can to understand the terms because we have to turn this mess around. But we can only turn it around if we understand what we're dealing with. Here we go.
Now, when I'm breaking this down so that you guys can thoroughly see the religious game that's being played on us and how this religious game was played, I want to bring out these few things right here. You have government, which a lot of you guys think is state, and it's not. And then you have church, and a lot of you guys think that church and state are different, and they're not. Then you have the king. Who is the king? Then you have the Lord of Liberty. Now, I'm not going to be able to break that down as well as I'd like to because my sister Nova, when she came to pick me up, and I was terribly running late, when she arrived, I was still in my pajamas, I'm sorry to say, and it was 4 o'clock. But she said, make sure you double check and make sure you have everything where Doc got everything. And now that I'm standing here, I realize I don't have everything. Because what I failed to bring was a constitution. Now, a lot of you have not, well, maybe you have. Many of us are not aware or don't comprehend the Constitution and how it really came to be. So I'm going to give you a brief breakdown on how the Constitution came to exist. Then I'm going to move you forward so that I can take you back. Now, way back in the day, when so-called Columbus was supposed to have arrived here, and the reason I say so-called and supposed to have, I don't even know if the man exists. I'm starting to doubt that he was even real. And I'm really starting to doubt that anybody with that name landed on this continent. However, when he got here and he stepped on shore, if he stepped on shore, the people that he looked out and saw looked like us, so-called black people. Now, in his story, which is history, which is nothing more than buried mystery, which is my story. They changed names, they changed the faces, and they lightened everything. And they did a trading places, they flipped the script on all of it. Now, when this dude landed on this continent, he looked out, he saw yo people. And brothers were no joke. Y'all, my brothers and sisters are no joke today. And we're at the bottom of society for the most part. You guys were really no joke back then when you were ruling the world. Back in the day, this being the king now couldn't get into the Tibetan mystery schools and the Masonic orders and what have you, the secret societies, or so you speak, the secret schooling or mystery schools. One of the things that occurred is, as most of you know, the Moors were having their problems. You know us. We do trip on one another from time to time. And back in the day, we were tripping. Now, these people took advantage of us tripping on one another because, as you know, a house divided can fall. While we tripping on one another with our little, who knows what the differences were, this being stepped in and launched their attack. Now, we did stop tripping on one another long enough to deal with this attack formidably. But keep in mind that we hadn't resolved our own issues. Even though we stopped to try to fight this situation. If I'm fighting with this sister here and we pull and weave out and we got it going on and somebody else jump in on both of us, we might stop long enough to fight whoever jumped in, but I ain't through what you get. Now, when this went down, you have to keep in mind that the being, and maybe let me give you guys one little piece before I move on forward with that, because I know y'all gonna trip and y'all ain't gonna want to believe this unless I give it to you straight out of the Strong Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. This is approximately a $50 book. This is what you call the dictionary of the so-called Holy Bible. The Holy Scriptures, for those that do not know, and for those of you that do,
sorry about that.
originated as ancient texts that were left by our ancient ancestors. Our ancestors left information scrolled in the paper, the papyrus. We left scrolled information or written information inside the pyramids, inside the Grand Canyons, inside the caves. Our people got story all over the place. Now, back in the day, our people were kind of tough. I really don't want to scare you guys by telling you how tough we were. But when it comes to what some of you guys might call magic or witchcraft or psychic phenomena or whatever, our people were using that every day. I mean, that was it. For some of you that remember your grandparents and your great-grandparents, you know I'm right. Because sometimes you might go out and you do some mess that you know you ain't had no business doing, or you're doing something that you know you have no business doing, and you don't know how it is that they always know. It's like nobody called and told you walk in the door and you can tell by the way they're looking at you. It's like, where you been and what you been up to? And you be like, but you busted. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know them grandparents that they just know when something's wrong. They just feel it. Something's wrong with their baby. You know, before anybody called from any hospitals or any police, alarms are going off inside of them. That is innate. You inherited that from your ancestors. But before I try to break down this creature, I want to give you a word that you guys, many of us think belongs to us. It does not. The word is Adam. This is not to be construed with A-T-O-M, A-T-U-M, A-B-A-M, and so on. A-D-A-M is not you. You are not Adam. You're not from Adam. That whole Adam and Eve business, y'all need to get that together. Now, Adam in this dictionary is word number 120. For those of you that have the book at home, look it up. I don't want you to take my word for nothing. Don't believe nothing I say. That's what's wrong with my people now. They believe everything they're told, except when it comes from us. Now check this definition of Adam and tell me if you think it fits you. Adam is unkind, hypocrite, common sort, low, mean man, low degree, mean person. But that comes from word number 119. Word number 119 says, Adam shows blood in the face, gets flush, turns red and gets rosy. Does that apply to half of you sitting up in here? So don't think for 1 minute that you're Adam. Now that you kind of have some idea who Adam is, and those of you that want to verify, it's right there. When Adam stepped on this continent, and he looked out and saw the Moors, and who knows what they would call themselves back in the day? They wouldn't call themselves no Indians, because my thing is this. If Columbus existed, the idiot was sent by Queen Isabella and Prince Ferdinand, or King Ferdinand, whatever you want to call it, to go to Africa to acquire some African slaves. He brings his butt to America, steps on shore and thinks he's in India, but he's going to Africa, but he thinks he's in India, and he starts calling everybody here Indians. Now, here's a key. If he named the tribe Blackfoot, it wasn't because their feet were dirty. What part of that y'all not kidding? Wake up and read between the lines. People are lying to you. Now, even though everybody knows that India is in India and Indians are in India, for some reason people still keep calling these brothers Indians. What's up with that? Now, when he stepped on shore, and y'all, any of you guys that know about the brother King Montezuma know, brothers were living high in the hog. Gold, y'all were just draped in that kind of stuff. You know, you guys would make things with that. You would build things with that. You know, you just